TYT reporter Emma Vigeland went to another Trump rally. I love her videos, so I always enjoy sharing them with you. So she always makes a point to have very polite discussions with the Trump voters in order to kind of get a sense of where their mind's at when it comes to various issues. This time she focused on Medicare for All, which is a policy that's being pushed by progressives like Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And so what do they have to say about it? Do they like the idea of expanding Medicare? Let's take a look.
Keep the price down. There's some senators that have an excellent plan whereby the doctors keep the prices of everything, prescription and everything, down, and they're not allowed to raise them up to the sky. Well, then it's affordable for everybody. You can go across state lines, my goodness.
So you think private insurance is the way to go?
Absolutely. This Obamacare is a piece of a work of the devil.
But Medicare for All goes beyond Obamacare, right? So it allows for a government option in addition.
Yeah, the federal government needs to stay out of everything.
Okay, so I mean, the federal government has, for the most part, stayed out of it, with the exception of forcing us to buy private insurance, yes. and some regulations that were good, including stopping private insurers from kicking people off due to pre-existing conditions, yada yada. But I mean, we've had private insurance for a very long time. Yes. And anyway, so those are his thoughts. There are more videos though, so I want to get to all of them. Let's take a look at the next one.
Honestly, for all Americans, for illegals, no. I don't think, how can
it's about tax-paying Americans.
Yeah, taxpayers, that's exactly right. We're taxpayers. The taxpayers shouldn't be liable for all the illegals. I mean,
so Medicare for All would be expanding it beyond the age for the retired and the elderly. It would be so everyone could have access to affordable health care.
I think that'd be a good idea. I really do. I think that'd be great for all because, like me, I'm 62. I've got diabetes. I've got black lung. I'm in bad shape. I almost went out a minute ago, and I don't have health care because I can't afford it. I can't afford the deductible.
Illegal so much you wouldn't be so sick because hatred causes illness.
Well, look, the whole immigration thing, we can have a full show discussing that. But, it's interesting because that answer was another example of a Trump voter unfortunately being misled about what Trump wants to do. Because remember, Trump has cut taxes for the wealthy. And how do you think he and Republicans want to make up for that? They want to cut programs like Medicare. Yep. They want to cut Social Security. I know Trump has said that he wants to protect Medicare, but behind the scenes, Republicans are working really hard to cut those programs to make up for the loss of revenue in terms of taxes. Cutting the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21% permanently. By the way, that's not even the effective tax rate. When you can take those loopholes into account, sometimes they're paying no federal taxes. In a lot of cases, they're paying about 7 to 10% in federal tax. We're paying more in taxes as the middle class than these massive corporations. It's insane. But these voters, again, to reiterate something I said earlier in the show, they want the same things that the majority of Americans want. They want affordable health care. And Medicare is a very popular program, which is why Trump pretends like he wants to protect it.
It's again what we talked about earlier. People who are not properly informed about the issues and are out there, the thing is that everybody is being moved by fear. Yes. And so if you find out the triggers in certain communities and you instill that fear in them, you're gonna move them to where you need them to be. And it's your responsibility as an American, as an individual, to become informed on the issues and really know what you're talking about, because he kept focusing on the illegals, and I'm like, that's the narrative that's being spilled into that sector.
So let me also be clear about something. Undocumented immigrants do not have access to Medicare. They don't have access to federal government programs. On a state level, based on what the state decides, there might be some programs that undocumented immigrants can use. But on a federal level, they do not qualify for these programs. The only thing in terms of healthcare that they do qualify for is if they go to an emergency room, the doctors have to see them, right? And it's because we're decent human beings. Like you can't just let someone die because of their immigration status. But again, it goes back to what you were saying, Ida. There's a lot of misinformation out there and they've really bought into it. They really think, oh my God, it's so unfair. I'm paying taxes, the illegals aren't paying taxes and they're taking advantage of, no. You are paying taxes. The corporations and the millionaires and billionaires, they're not paying taxes, right? And in doing so, they're preventing you from receiving services that you've paid into.
Yeah, and it's wild too, kind of building off what I had said before. It's like the us, them. That is what is being pushed here. And you could even hear it in the first gentleman's comment where he said Obamacare is an act of a devil. He was speaking in code there. And then the next gentleman with immigrants, it is an us, them. And it's always permeating. And it's insane how people are doing things to their own detriment because they're so focused on an us, them mentality as opposed to taking a step back, having an open mind, being educated and informed, and making the right decision that would actually be beneficial to them.
Yeah.
So there's 2 more videos. One of them I really enjoyed, but I don't think it's the next one. Let's take a look at what we have next.
I don't believe Medicare for all. I've paid for Medicare. I have Social Security and I paid for Social Security. There is Medicaid, and Medicaid is something that we provide for people that can't provide it for themselves. So I'm not in favor of taking Medicare and hijacking it for something that's not intended for.
So it would be expanding it, right? So that everyone can have access. Are you happy with your Medicare?
I don't know. They're going to pay for their Medicare. When they get to the proper age, they'll apply for it like I have. And just like I have, I'm paying over $400 or $500 a month for my wife to have Medicare.
Anyone want to chime in on this one? I just feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding about how these programs work, right? Yes. And I don't know. I mean, I see how much I pay for Medicare every single paycheck, and I don't know if that program's going to be there for me when I'm ready to use it. So I just feel like we need to get to a point where Americans are all in agreement that our taxpayer money should go toward enriching our lives instead of enriching the lives of, private military contractors. A lot of our money goes to stuff like that when it should be going toward making sure that we're healthy, that we're taken care of. One more video.
I voted for Trump and I changed my mind for many, many reasons. Health care for all. Actually, I had Obamacare for 2 years. It was the best thing I ever had. He is destroying the health system. That man is evil and people don't realize it.
Okay, I love that video because it's so rare, right? It's so rare to come across Trump voters who are like, I made a horrible mistake and I am angry about it. Like she went to, I don't know if I would do that. Like she went to a Trump rally to protest Trump and she's like, you know what? I had Obamacare and I loved it and this guy is evil. And I'm really happy no one harassed her. But I'm also really proud of her for voicing her opinion on this.
Yeah, she's totally preaching. She's like, I've seen the light. You can see it too. Come here, come join. And it is kind of really sad when you see people, kind of almost come back. It's a good thing, and I appreciate that, realizing they made a mistake. But at the same time, you had all the evidence in front of you. And so to realize that you kind of had ignored that evidence and still went in favor of, it's difficult to feel some sympathy for them, especially because we're all in this boat together. But at the same time, the more people that need to come this way, come on over.
So Trump's base is so defiant that I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it's kind of a relief to see that some people are waking up, right? And for me, look, people think it's, they're just leftists that just hate Trump. They have Trump derangement syndrome. No, I care about the issues, the actual policies and what this is doing. And by the way, they keep talking about repealing the Affordable Care Act. What are they talking about? They've already done it, right? They've gutted it. I mean, they have already gotten rid of that mandate, which I get it. The mandate sucked because if you're young and healthy, you don't want to be forced into buying private insurance. I get that. But by repealing the mandate portion of that legislation or of that law, it essentially guts it. And I'm worried that now, we haven't really felt the impact of it yet.
Yes.
Premiums will be out of control. Because you don't have the young, healthy people paying into the system and keeping the premiums lower. And so, I don't know, we'll see how this all turns out, but there you have it. Trump voters at another Trump rally. Good job, Emma. I really love her reporting.
It's just easy though. I just want to say, when you're older and white and you've been basking in privilege and in wealth, to say, I did it, you do it too.
The TYT Plus app is now available on iOS and Android. Download to get more TYT content at tyt.com/app.